if you have like any picture of like that you're really proud, like besides of Tuma,
Like all my shots of Jay, for sure, because they mean something to me more on a personal level, and I want to say all the shots that friends of mine and I have taken around here of Jay, I see them all sort of in that way. Like, they're definitely not your run-of-the-mill, oh, Jay Adams skating like in the Valley or fucking, you know, San Diego somewhere. It's like here, it's just different, especially when it was us taking photos of him. And for me, it's like looking at them as a good memory after he passed and all that. And I don't know, that's what I equate it to. Like, I'll look at those and I'm just like, you know, I gotta say, this is a trip, how life works, and it's really fucked up in a way. And I'll be like really dead serious right now, and I've told people this before, and it's like pretty gnarly. My photos were somewhat getting known, but they were like known. Where like no one was knocking on the door for shit. Just because of like, every once in a while I'd take a picture of the picture and I'd put it up, and I put on like fucking Facebook. I wasn't even on Instagram yet, right? People are like, oh, those are cool. What do you do with those? I'm like, ah, nothing, whatever. They just sit in a trunk. I didn't think anything of them at all. And Jay passed, right? And all of a sudden, people started taking notice of my photos of Jay. And that tripped me out, that it was that sort of caught the attention of people connecting my photos with him, but not only that, just like noticing my photos. And I was like, what a fucked up, tragic thing, but life normally is, where like a friend of mine passed, but it got my photos of him noticed. And I was like, that's like a really, like, you know, like I don't look at myself as like, oh, I'm a tortured artist, and I'm so not that guy. But that one, I gotta say, I do look at it like, wow, that's a fucked up mind fuck to think about, and I think about it heavily. At the same time, I don't look at it like, oh, he gave you this gift, and I'm not gonna go like super holy roller on that. What I'm gonna say is, I do nod to him and I thank him in my head. That something became of it that became cooler than just like, oh, it's photos of Jay Adams. It's photos of Jay and Jackie's giving him a ticket, you know, and him smoking a joint. Him was 7 when he's a baby. You know what I mean? More than just skating, you know, and then there's the skating stuff, you know? And I relish in that it means something to me in that way with him. So I thank him for that very much, that somehow that bizarre scenario that he lit the fuse in some way for the shit getting noticed. And then when Bri passed away 2 years later, and Brian's my best friend, Brian Zarati Dahlheimer. Oof, fucking, and when he passed, that whole, you know, just because you pay rent here doesn't mean you're a local, like that all of a sudden like took on a thing. And then like more people got at me, and a friend of mine who I didn't know at the time when this was happening, named Gus Samirno Jr., who's an incredible artist from Venice, wanted to paint a mural of Brian, and we got the blessing of his family to do this, and it was for a mural like contest in downtown. And he contacted me and was like, I would really like to do this mural of your friend who passed away. Well, I didn't know Brian, but he's friends with like Richard Massey and all the younger guys, younger than me. And that got noticed. And then it like, he tagged me in things, and then, you know, people started following me, and then, oh, people wanted orders, and I'm like, that's fucked up. My friend passed, and then something good happened. And that's fucked up. I gotta say that I thank them for whatever universal, bizarre thing happened that somehow they got seen because of that, but it's really fucked up when you think about it. I don't mean to be a downer, but like if we're gonna be serious about like my life and photography and blah, 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 there's your whole like tortured part. You know what I mean? I'm like, and you just sort of gotta eat it. And I've heard other people talk about that happening to them with other things. And they're like, they go more the route of like, they're looking out for you. And you're like, I don't know if I could 100% see it that way, but I could see it in a way of like I said, saying thank you in my head to them, and that I'm sorry that it had to fucking be some tragic shit that made that happen, you know? But my homage to them and other friends that have passed that I have photos of is like keeping their legacy alive, man. Dude, I don't make money as a photographer. Like, it's seldom. It comes in spurts. I have a job as a stage manager. What I give a fuck about is the legacy of this place and my friends and the people that meant something to me, that are personal to me, that I share with the world to be like, okay, man, you guys fucking dig our story. Well, I'm one small part of this big ass puzzle of this funky, crazy, you know, gritty beach town, Venice. You know, and it's like there's a billion stories that are fucking core. We all got them here, you know? So like, I like to share these people with the world and be like, they're not with us anymore. This is who they were, man. And like, yeah, you guys look at Jay and you see this skater, but like fuck all that. One, he loved surfing more than skating, you know? And fucking, especially at the end. And fucking, he was like this crazy dude that was this super humble, really nice fucking human being that was extremely generous, dude. You know, and people don't really know that side. They just want to know the crazy side. It's like, yeah, that's not fair to do. So I try to make sure people see that side, you know. They hear the funny stories about me and Brian and the photos I put up of them. So that's how I guess I deal with the fact that my friends passed, and in turn, somehow my photos got noticed. You know, it's really a bizarre story. So it's my love story to them in this city.
It's kind of like if you start to see like in a different dimension of spirituality.
Yeah.
Usually like when I lost my mom, I start to feel like things that started to get better in my life. Feel like it looks like she was helping me. Don't you think like they helped you like in this way?
How's this? What? I got a really cool story for you guys. Do I got time?
Yeah.
Okay. When Jay passed, there was that huge swell, Marie, right? And I was up in Malibu surfing it. And I had written, you know, a cross with Jay's name and RIP and all that. And this guy runs by me and he goes, fuck yeah, man, all day Jay, all day Jay. I'd never met the guy before. And I go, oh, cool, right on, man. Yeah. And he's like, hey, man, I'm gonna be at the Powel out at the Venice Pier. And I was like, oh, right on, cool. He's like, right, have a good day, man. It's pumping out there. Had no idea who it was. I go to the Powel out a couple days later. Guy's there, shakes my hand. Oh, right on, nice to see you, blah, blah. I would run into him randomly at places, and he would always say really nice stuff about Jay. And he was always like, hey, dude, when you surf, like, just think about him and talk to him, this and that. Like I said, I didn't know this guy at all. And I was like, that's cool. And he would always say that, like he would mention that. Then Bri passed. Same shit, right? Bri passed. I ran into the guy at Rincon, fucking like, literally like 2 weeks after Bri passed. On this pretty fucking pumping day. And he was like, what's up, dude? How you been? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, we lost another friend. And I started telling him about Bri. He's like, fuck, man, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Same shit, dude. Just think about them, this and that. And I was like distraught. Like, I was like, damn, I don't even know how I'm gonna surf. Like, just fucking, I couldn't shake it at all. Like, losing Bri just like fucked me up. I remember paddling out, I was sitting there, and it was sort of like, it was almost like today, like it was that kind of like, it was definitely that like, ooh, biblical, like this, you know, fucking clouds and the sun rays and all that. And I was I had a conversation with them in my head, but not like some crazy shit or fucking like really being like making myself talk. It was just this loose conversation where I just was like, I'm so bummed you guys can't be here doing this with me right now, but like know that you're with me right now doing this. And both of them going like, yo, motherfucker, do that shit, because that's what we would be doing, you know? And I'm like, and it felt heavy in my head, in my heart, that I was like, wow, man, like I know I'm not talking to him, but that I sort of lost myself for a good second. I was like, whoa, snap out of it, you know, kind of thing. It was definitely like a spiritual kind of deal, you know what I mean? Especially surfing, like, you know, I always say like, that's my church, that's as spiritual as I get. That's the closest I get to calm and peace. And like that day I had a great session, and I just remember like everything about it. I remember getting out, seeing the guy, and I was like, dude, thank you again for what you said, blah, blah, blah. And then Juan Pablo, maybe Tyler? It was Juan Pablo and someone ran into him a couple days later, like, dude, we ran into this guy, and he brought up like Jay and Brian, blah, 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 and it was like that dude. I was like, oh, he's cool as fuck, this and that. But that was a very spiritual thing, yeah. And it was a beautiful feeling because of surfing. That's what made it so spiritual, of like, I'm having fun, and in my head are the two guys I had the most fun with. You know, that's who's with me right now. I feel bad for the younger generation, because obviously they can't get away with things that we got away with. And there's cameras, and there's surveillance, and it's just a new dawn, and it's a new world with all that shit. At the same time, like Willie and Joe, like that generation of guys surfing and skating and photography and videography around here, they're fucking like next level. And they're really cool because they're all pretty much old souls. Like, it's a trip, and they are very respectful, but not in a kiss-ass way, just respectful of what came before them, but like doing it like on a level in the water where they're just fucking charging, fucking insane. And
fuck yeah, Greg. Oh shit!
Videoing huge waves in the water and fucking ripping and doing the 360 airs and all that. And it's cool to see that like there's a generation that found the mix. They like mixed it. They did what this generation sort of is. Like now there's like country and hip hop meshed. And you know, it was like when rock and fucking, you know, when we were the generation like, ooh, Aerosmith and Run DMC and rock and hip hop mesh. And it's like these guys mesh it. They're like, you could be an old soul with an old school way of thinking and do all the new shit. You don't have to like be stiff and an old soul and blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing. And so I fucking dig their generation. They're cool. They're fucking watermen. Like, they're true watermen. Like, they fucking, like, go swim fucking out in crazy shit. And they're, like, core as fuck. And I gotta say, though, like, the difference between them and us was we were way more crazy and core out of the water as well. They seem to be way more grounded. They're more even-keeled. And not to say they're not down. I'm just saying they're like, maybe they just get it a little bit better than we did. I don't know, they're not grown up in as harsh of an environment, obviously. And like I said, they still get the old shit. So there is a coreness to them, but they're more pleasant as people. And it shows, and they're fucking badass. Yeah, watching them surf last winter was fucking amazing. Those guys are core as fuck, dude. They're fucking dope, dude. They're good people too.
Sad sacred lovers, won't you wish you